Part of the final step that all public service workers with federal student loans should do is certify their qualifying employment with the Department of Education. Although only some public service workers must consolidate their loan to ensure that their PSLF loan forgiveness covers their entire federal student loan debt, all public service workers should certify their qualifying public service employment. Remember, qualifying employers are government employers, 501c3 nonprofit employers, and certain other nonprofit employers. You should certify your employment using the PSLF Help Tool, which is the same tool you can use to confirm that your past and current employers qualify you for PSLF. First, go online and navigate to studentaid.gov. This is the department's main website for student loans and is your portal to access information about all of your federal student loans. You'll be prompted to sign in using your FSA ID. If you don't have an FSA ID, you should make one. Your FSA ID is the key to accessing all of the information about your federal student loans. On the top menu, under Manage Loans, you can select Public Service Loan Forgiveness from the drop-down menu. On the PSLF page, you'll see a link to access the PSLF Help Tool identified here, which you should click. Once you start the tool, you'll be prompted at the bottom to continue, which will bring you to the page you see now, where you can add your past and present employers. You can look up all of your employers since October of 2007 by entering your tax employer identification number, or EIN, and your dates of employment. You can check your employer's EIN number by looking at your W-2, by asking your employer, or for larger employers, by Googling them. Once you search, the Help tool will pull up results and you can select your employer from the list that you see. On the screen, you'll see the results for a search of New York State. To the right, in green and circled in red, New York State shows up as eligible for an employer. This is because it is a government employer. Other qualifying employers will also show up as eligible. Certain ineligible employers will show up in red as ineligible. And if your employer does not show up, it is likely because no one from your employer has applied for PSLF. And so the department has not made a determination on their eligibility. In that case, if you believe your employer meets the eligibility requirements, you should still proceed. The PSLF Help tool will guide you through the next steps, including identifying which loans you want to include for PSLF loan forgiveness. If you see any warnings that certain loans do not qualify or that you may lose credit for consolidating loans to make them qualify, remember that these warnings do not apply during the special waiver period that runs through October 31st, 2022. If you continue through each of the tool steps, at the end, it will generate a form that you can use to certify your employment. This form is called an Employment Certification Form, or ECF. An example of an ECF is shown here. Once you generate the ECF, you will need to have an employer that you are claiming as a public service employer sign the form. Once the form is signed, you must submit it to the designated federal student loan servicer for processing. Currently, Fed Loan Servicing is the designated servicer for public service loan forgiveness, and you can submit the form to them by following the specific instructions that are included on the ECF form itself. If this changes, the department will alert borrowers. Once the servicer receives the form, it will work with the department to confirm that your qualifying employment meets the PSLF standards and to calculate what PSLF loan forgiveness credit you should receive as part of the waiver process. For public service workers who already have direct loans and already have certified their employment, the department will automate much of this process and may notify you of your new PSLF credits without your having to take any steps. However, to make sure you get the maximum benefit that you qualify for, we recommend that every public service worker submit a new ECF that will reflect all of their qualifying public service work by October 31st, 2022, the deadline for the waiver period.